Hey there folks, today I'd like to take a casual peek into the Marvel Legends Ultron action figure set from Hasbro. This figure is part of the Ironmonger Build-A-Figure collection of subline of Marvel Legends, and was the fifth figure in the series. And was first available in 2012 for a price of about $15 to $20 at most major retailers. I got this set at a Target when it first became available and paid about $16 or $17 for the set. Taking a closer peek at Ultron in the packaging here, you could see the figure encased in the standard card packaging of the Marvel Legends of its time. And you could see up above it's part of the Iron Man subline of Marvel Legends, or at least a subline catered to Iron Man and Iron Man villains. And this figure did come out during the release of the Iron Man 3 live action movie, so sort of related in a way. But you can see the figure here in a full window, or near full window, and you can see most of the figure there. It's pretty cool. And you can also see the Build-A-Figure part for Ironmonger there, and it's the head. Very nice. And the back of the card, the backing card I should say, is pretty cool. It has Iron Man at the top, and then you can see the Avengers Initiative logo at the top there. Down here you could see the Build-A-Figure collection stamp, and it's part of the Ironmonger series of the Build-A-Figure collection, and the Marvel Legends logo there. Pretty cool. And taking a look at the back of the packaging here, you could see a photo of the figure there, and enhanced a little bit, photoshopped a little bit, add some highlights, especially the reds area there. And then you have a nice comic panel of a line art of Ultron there. And down below you could see the other figures in this Ironmonger series. You have here number 1, Iron Patriot. Number 2 is Classic Iron Man. Number 3 is the Heroic Age Iron Man. Number 4 is Iron Man Mark 42. And number 6 is Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes. And over here on the left, you have the assembled Ironmonger figure there. One thing to note is that when the Ironmonger line came out, only the first 3 figures were available at the time, and the last 3 of Mark 42, James Rhodes, and Ultron were released about 3 or 4 months afterwards. So just an interesting thing to note there. Now we'll be right back and have Ultron out of the packaging. Okay, we have Ultron out of the packaging, and there isn't much included in this set other than the figure. It's just the Build-A-Figure part and a pamphlet. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at this pamphlet first. It's basically showing you how to put the Ironmonger Build-A-Figure together. This pamphlet is called Inside the Armor Vault. And on the right here you can see it is number 5 of 6. And it talks a little bit about Ultron there. There's a notable tech here. There, and you have a picture of Ultron there, and also more information about Ultron down here at the bottom corner. And on the left here are all the parts needed to assemble an Ironmonger figure, or Build-A-Figure. and it shows you which sets come with which parts. And of course, with this particular set, we have the head of the Ironmonger figure. And we're going to go ahead and take a closer peek at the head of Ultron, or not Ultron, but of Ironmonger, which Ultron is holding right here. And it's actually pretty cool. And we have the figure head here of Ironmonger. Pretty cool looking head. And I really like the material that they used to make this head. It's in this blue, almost like, not metallic blue, but glossy blue with what looks like a marbleized type of finish. And it's actually quite neat. And very, very nice the way they did this. Instead of using just straight up plastic straight up plastic, you could see the details on the head there, or the eyes, I should say, the visor area. It's actually kind of cool. It's got a gradient shift from black to red to black as you move from right to left or left to right, and it's actually kind of cool. And it's, I believe, painted on, but it looks very nicely done. And then you have a black painted mouth there. But very cool. You can see the ball joint here. I don't think it's a double ball joint. It's just a single ball joint there, on a fixed peg at the base of the head there. But very cool, neat piece, and I do look forward to putting the Ironmonger together. But that's pretty neat. But now let's go ahead and take a closer peek at the Ultron figure, and it's a pretty interesting design. If it looks a little bit familiar, it's because it is about, I would say, the majority of this figure is a reuse, basically a repaint of another figure, and that is the Titanium Man. And essentially all of the parts, or most of the parts from Titanium Man is reused here, except for the head and shoulders. I think everything else is basically the Titanium Man figure from the Iron Man Armored Avenger line a few years back. And of course, also different is the finish. And while the Titanium Man was primarily gray and green, this one is basically all silver on there with a little bit of red. But it's a very cool, I guess, repaint of a figure. They use in, like I said, Titanium Man, but just slap on a couple different parts and you have an Ultron figure. Although this I think is a little bit thinner than I'd like, but still, it's still a nice reuse of parts to create another figure, character. And I mentioned earlier the finish used of the parts, material used, is different from Titanium Man. In this one, it's actually very similar to the Ironmonger part here. It's got this finish applied to it, or the plastic used. It's got that marbleized type plastic, which is very nice. And it was also used on the Heroic Age Iron Man, and probably the James Rhodes figure. I think it's just something that they did on this Iron Man line by using a different grade plastic, I guess you could say. But that produces this sort of marbleized finish, and it's very cool. And it's a nice, not truly glossy finish, but semi-gloss type finish to it. Makes it look sort of metallic on there, and it's very nice. Looking at some more details on the head here, it's a very interesting head sculpt there, and with an open mouth there. And you could see all of the paint detail that had been applied. Actually, there's very little paint on the overall figure. Really, all of the paint is in the head and just these two dots at the shoulder, and that's it. But the paint has been applied decently on this figure. There's been a misapply right here on the right eye, just slightly higher than where it should be applied, but not too noticeably off on there. But I did notice that the other Ultron figures that I remember seeing on the shelves, they were less than accurately applied. They were more off shifted a little bit, and I did have to go through several figures on the pegs to find one I was happy with, which was this one here. But the paint on this one, like I said, is pretty decent, and the sculpting on the head is actually quite nice. You got these antenna or ears that are going in an upward direction. I wish they had gone in a downward direction. From what I remember in the comics, they were going more downwards than upwards. But it's the case here. I don't know if Ultron had ears or antenna that were going upwards at one point, but I do remember them going downwards. And it would have been nice to have it going downwards instead of upwards, but that's okay. And then you also, moving down from the head, you have the shoulder pieces here, which are different from the Titanium Man. And they're also sort of a different grade of plastic. This one is more of that traditional solid type plastic that's been used, and you can tell we're just comparing between the rest of the body and the shoulders. The grade of plastic being used is slightly different, and it looks slightly off. I'm not sure why they did that, because that's the only part of the figure where it does not have that marbleized type of finish on there. So it would have been nice if they included that for the shoulders, but they didn't. So it looks slightly off with these two pieces that are sitting on top of the shoulders there. And you got the paint applied here. This one's slightly off the plastic, but that's not too bad there. This one here is actually more centered around the circle sculpt on there. And here, moving down to the rest of the body, nothing has changed between Titanium Man and this Ultron figures. Nothing has been redone, like on the leg or the arms. It's all the same as a Titanium Man figure, which at the time I had taken a closer peek at that, I was pretty happy with. I think it's, like I said, a good reuse. Would have been nice to add little bits that were different other than the head and shoulders here. Maybe somewhere the lower leg or the lower arms maybe added a new sculpt, but Hasbro decided not to do that. But with a decent application of color, different application of color from the Titanium Man, it produces a slightly different result, and with that marble finish. It does produce a more unique character in essentially the same body mold on there. So pretty nice reuse of the body and different materials. Going over articulation of this figure, the head goes all the way around and can go up and down. It's basically on a ball hinge joint. The arms, if you move the shoulders, can go all the way around and can go out this much and inwards this much. You can see that the shoulders do move up and down to accommodate movement of the arm. And the arm also goes all the way around at the upper bicep area. There are double hinge joints at the elbows to allow you to extend the arm about that much and bend it in about that much. The hands are on hinged swivel joints, so they can go all the way around, as well as up and down. And the torso has a hinge that allows the figure to bend downwards about that much, and back slightly. There is a swivel at the waist, and the legs here actually go upwards on a ball hinge joint. Hold on a sec here. And the leg can go upwards about that much, and back about that much, and by manipulating the hinge can go outwards about that much, and the leg can go all the way around at that hip joint area. And the knees are double hinged and can bend back about that much there. And here at the ankle, it's a simple hinge pegged into the ankle, into the leg I should say, instead of the foot. So the foot can go all the way around and bend downwards about that much and upwards about that much. And because the peg goes into the leg instead of into the foot, there is no ankle pivot articulation. Overall, it's a decent Ultron figure of a reused body mold, but with a different material, plastic material used, a different color, and unique shoulder and head. It does produce a different character with essentially 90% or 80% of reuse. But this is my casual peek into the Marvel Legends Ultron figure from the Ironmonger Build-A-Figure collection subline. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.